Hello, my name is Cthulhu Monster. Welcome back to my ATM 10 to the Skies playthrough. Last episode, we concentrated our efforts a lot in this spaceship. We were actually able to get the Drigmies here, as well as sort out a lot of the storage issues I had in that corner. But I found out I wasn't able to get the stars from the wither in the jar with the Drigmy. I'm not sure if that's a bug. We'll find out hopefully today. But that means we need power. So let's get into the mod power. And whatever other rabbit holes we fall down, let's be honest. I'm thinking right here we can work with power. And I'm not sure how far power actually goes past the beginner level. All right, this is the mod I'm talking about, Powah. And there's a few pieces to it that always make me smile. One is the energizing orb is what we need to make. And look at this guy. We all... I've seen like people do builds. We worship the orb, and I love that. I'm a big fan. So that'll definitely be something to be curious about. I think a lot of the stuff over on this side of useful items is actually going to be taken up by our flux network. The energy rod is one that we will pay attention to. And then from the energy cells, there's really no reason to do an ender cell because we're going to be concentrating our effort on the flux network. So we're really looking to automate this section here, as well as getting upgrades for our energy rods. And then second part is, it looks like they got some energy cables, which is interesting. 1,000,000 FE per tick. I'd be curious, maybe we'll compare those to mechanism. Ender gates. Not that important with the flux generator, but we got the magmator, which is using lava, which we currently believe it's where it stays underneath it. We have the furninator, which will burn items like coal and wood. I don't have things to burn. The thermal generator. Oh, maybe this is the one that would have to be... The other one might eat the magma. This one, I think, might just sit on top of it. All right. But what we're actually going to do is the reactor. My goal is to get to at least the blazing reactor. Maybe the hardened will... it will take us a moment. And I think that'll be it for what we have in power. I would like to make it pretty though. So this block here is what I'm designating our power section. And you can see that there is a bit of a mess already in here. This is the building. This is the floor outside. I'm not a huge fan of what this looks like. So that's something we'll have to pay attention to. I would like to pull a power line from here and out, but you can see I already have one here with the inscribers, I believe. So there is a color applicator that we can make. Okay, here's our color applicator. And then we are able to make different paintballs. Power in my mind always looks like orange in my eyes. So let's see about making orange ones. But you can see it needs a matter ball. And this is where we're going to use our matter condenser. So let's get our first matter condenser. A2, I believe there's other applications for this as well. So definitely not something I plan on skipping. I'm going to put this upstairs. And now we just need to bring water into this. We have the sink from upstairs. I'm okay using some of our other mods right now where the pipes are more visible, as this is our starter base. We'll go fancy and hidden as we need to. Doesn't look like this needs to be hooked to power either, which is kind of interesting. Since it doesn't require power, I think I'm going to adjust this. And my goal is to put this just a little bit closer to the AE2 system here. All right, so I have replaced the ceiling with these framed blocks. I got the dirt in place, but I think then next step is going to be what I want power to have. One thing I wanted to check was framed blocks has a lot of tools, and one of those I was hoping would be like a wrench to remove stuff. Okay, so the hammer looks like it's what can remove this simply. Perfect. I knew there had to be a tool. This way I don't have to relay all of those pieces if I find out I don't like this. It's at this time I try a few different styles. The one that you're going to see first with the kiwi colors isn't going to stay. So I'm just going to kind of skip past that. I tried a few things here. It was just too dark with the dark ceiling. There we go. Yay, we made a spot. All right. Now I need to get a power cord through this to where we care about it. I love seeing the automated inventory stuff pop through. Yes, please. We will fill this. And as I come off this, you see they're connecting right now. It's because they are both the same color. So once I color these will no longer connect. So here's my orange. So 1, 2, sir. Oh, I might need to get it. I need to get another color on that one. If they're not colored, they will still connect. So if I click, I can switch between, and it gives you nice graphics for that. So I do appreciate seeing that. Oop. Now you can see that these are separating very nicely. my system here. Yeah, I built it, and then I replaced everything with cable anchor, everything with facades. Now, how do I want to do this? There's so many options. First, though, I do want a feeding upgrade, so let's make one of those for the backpack. I was holding out because of the melons, I think. Yeah, I didn't want to have to deal with getting the glistering melon. A very small price, and yeah, we'll grab all this cooked food and toss it in my backpack now. I'm going to upgrade it so it doesn't work all the time. I think I could tell it to give a little more guidance with just some materials, so that's easy. I feel like they should make it more rare food orientated. I'm going to say only feed when hungry enough. Feed when immediately hurt. Yep, that works for me. Now I'll never have to eat again. Well, never have to remind myself to eat. Getting into Power, I really want to make sure we got some crafting recipes set because I'm lazy. Oh my, Jesus. That's so good. He's living quite a long time up there, actually. He's got a bow. Oh no, Jesus died. Now I want to look at Powah. Powah requires very specific piece to it. It requires me to empty my list of saved items. We are running out of crafting space. Okay, so Powah requires a few things. A dielectric paste is a big one of it. We're going to make this a recipe down here with the clay. Then comes the piece that I always find it here in the energizing orb. We want a casing as well as the dielectric rod. The rods are pretty simple. They have iron bars in there, however, so you do need to make sure you're using those. And then you could just make a little form that'll give you the ones on the side here. So I'm going to put the energizing ones with a pattern because I find them annoying to have to deal with. So make a pattern for it. Make another pattern extender over there. We need to put this somewhere. We're running out of space. All right, so let's make a starter of these. I like to do 9 to start because it just gives me my 3x3 grid. So close. The tiny capacitor got me. Wiring updates. That's today's episode with Monster. All right, so we have automated those 9. You could potentially just use even a single energizing orb for this. This could be a block if everything is being automated through one orb. So you may end up wanting to put a few more out there. My setup of this may have to be changing throughout. So let's try a few things here. Here is my current power. And then I need a bunch of rods that point to this. We currently have 9 starter ones. Perfect. And we'll need to do a pattern provider on this. I have the ones that are completely flat, which is likely what we're going to be using here. And the rods themselves don't stack. So that's kind of one of the pains about this pack. But I mean, there's very few pains. So we'll take that. All right. Pattern provider. Let's put it right here. Put it from the bottom. All right. Gonna put it this way. Have it facing up because I can hide this then. Be part of my design. I have a bunch of rods, which means you can actually use a flux point for a lot of this. And you could just put a bunch of rods all over the flux point, which is what I see a lot of folks do. It's very cool looking in my opinion. It's like this type of shape. And the wrench will help us figure out where things are connected. And we already have the Powah wrench from other pieces. We should be able to, if we're crouched, take things off apparently. Okay, so I am not sure I want to do it this way. I'd like to have my power something hidden on those energy cables. I think it'll look pretty cool that way. Oh, gotta remind myself I don't need to make it pretty. I just want to make it pretty. Pretty can come later, guys. All right, let's work with these energy cables. We'll do starter ones and work from around this. All right. Here is kind of a starter piece to this. Link, you can see that they're all linked to this one, which is great. And now let's make some recipes. I'm so happy that I now have the ability to do this wirelessly. Do I remember most times? No, I really, really don't. I'm going to make sure the blocking mode's on here so it doesn't try to rush this. And then let's order some energized steel. Let's order 100 of this. See, it's in there. It's 0 right now because I didn't give any power to our little grid here. And now it's processing it, but now it needs to get pulled out. So the ME interface isn't pulling into our system. So, or is it? No, it isn't. So let's get an importer and put it at the back. And it looks like, yeah, there it is. It's starting to process now. Seems like it's going fast enough. So the next thing is we're just going to do the work to get through the next pieces. We're going for the basic starter block now for these rods. And I'll just switch between the two as they go until we have a higher tier here. Which is fantastic. Ooh, we are losing power, so let's plan to make a reactor then. It looks like we'll be able to get straight to the niotic reactor. Not bad to jump all the way to this one. This is why power isn't too mad, in my opinion. It takes time, but it's not too bad. It looks like each of these uses the one before it. All right, let's get those recipes in. With those reactors, I'll need 36 for each one. So let's order a reactor. Okay, we'll start that. And we are out of power. Oof. I'm going to cancel those ones and have it concentrate over here. Okay, we now have a niotic reactor. And we can set these guys up. I'm going to put them over in these corners. I do love the fact they make the shape for you. That is very helpful. I'm going to put it here then. If you put the middle in, it'll build itself, which is fantastic. And our batteries are already filled because we have terrible batteries. Now, with this, it is way too close to this. I hate it. One thing I'm considering is we don't really need a center point here. We can pretend that these are structurally sound. And this can become our pathway. All right, the reactor. You'll want to cool the reactor down to create it, and you can do it with either solid or liquid one. To use a solid one, you'll need to give it some liquid coolant as well. So we can start with water, and then we can move to dry ice. You could also increase the FE by keeping the fuel buffer full, as well as adding both fuel, coal, and redstone to the reactor. Using blocks of either will also work. Okay, lots of cool things we could think of here. So much of what I'm going to do is layout orientated on this one. Power is a pretty simple mod, thank gosh. And let's put the niotic reactor here. All right, we're going to import very specifically things like water. Do I have water to import, I guess is my question. That's something we can hide anywhere, is a sink. Get a sink, excellent. I'm just going to sneak it over here because I don't want to deal with it, I'm going to be honest. Can't remember if it needs to connect to that piece in particular. So let's hide this going to the back. I know some stuff needs to come in on the side here. So let's see if water is one of those. Oh, export buses, not import buses. I make that mistake way too often. See it? There we go. It's coming in now. Perfect. I'm going to put speed on this. Yes, please. There's also a crafting card here, which I'm very happy to see. That'll be a big part when we actually get to dry ice. Now let's put redstone in here. It looks like I can put the blocks in there, and now that it's in there, it'll fill it forward. Perfect. We also can put carbon in here. So I'm going to plan to have it use blocks of coal and be able to request it on command. So the crafting card is the next piece that I want. With the crafting card, if we need more of these items, it should be able to request it. I'm going to put it on round robin. You can see it's already crafted all the coal that I needed, and it'll be able to craft the redstone as well. Now we just need the fuel. Is there any condensed version of this? There is. I'm curious about this. Doesn't look like it can be used that way, so we won't worry about it. All right, uranite's in here. The temperature is climbing. I don't believe these explode, so that's good. And it is starting to store our power. I want to put automatic on so it'll stop when full and start only when the battery has less than 70%. So now we have power. It's not the most efficient yet. It's still heating up, but it is generating it way faster than what we currently have. It's at 25K per tick. Our previous setup was only 6,000. So that guy just got outpaced significantly with this one. So a few things we want to look at is dry ice is one of those. Dry ice is an energizing orb option, but we need blue ice to get there. And blue ice isn't my favorite thing to get. This looks like we could start it off with Oritech with ice. I made an industrial chiller, and I want the cores from Oritech, from my understanding. We were able to get up to the improved cores, so we should be, I think my plan is to use that. And we'll just need to pull water into this. All right, so I put up a spirited reactor, forgot to, of course, record. Same situation with the crafting card in here, and now I put the dry ice, and she's looking good. Generating 93K out of the potential for 100. So I think it's just the dry ice issue here. So now I can upgrade this one here, as well as just keep using more stuff. Nether stars, let's take a look at those. We're at 70 now, so I think we can get closer to the nitro, is it? I'm going to turn back on these guys. Gosh. All right, we are speeding through this mod. I'm going to turn off the mob farm for a second. We have a lot of source. We get a lot of drops. I don't know what else we'll need for some of this, so in the meantime, you can just, you guys just enjoy yourselves. You did what you needed to. We have filled up our current molecular assembler. Alright, well this is fine. We got 210 nether stars so far. We're doing well, right? And then the next one is niotic crystals. So these guys are very interesting. So we'll need to be able to make blazing crystal, and they'll use the nether star, and they take 20 million FE per tick. So let's look at how much uraninite we have. We are not making too much of an impact, so I think we're safe keeping going on that. All right, here is our nitro reactor. Plop it in here, please. And the dry ice is starting to buffer. So it just doesn't form that fast, or it doesn't get used that fast. So we'll get there in time. I think that machine will be enough for our starter base. All right, well that's working, and it definitely is working. I wanted to look at advanced AE. This is not I haven't worked with this mod as much. It is an additive mod to applied energistics, so it is not part of the default one. And it has some really cool points to it that I'm intrigued by. A few things I'm really interested in advanced AE is going to be the wireless connector, so we can connect all our pieces up without any wires. All right, let's work on this extended AE then. And this is actually going to be taking this space here underneath the stairs, because we need to clean this up. This is a hot mess too. Okay, so it looks like our start is with the seed, which this will hopefully be able to get through very quickly. I'm gonna clear all my power pieces. It's at this point, unfortunately, I lost a lot of my extended AE footage just due to some computer issues. So I do recommend looking up some great tutorials that other ATM 10 to the Sky folks made. I made a quick modular router machine, as well as using an active formation plane to help me make a bunch of the Entra crystals to start. Then this got replaced with the distillation chamber later on. Hi, Editor Monster here. So with that, a little bit of voiceover, I realized I was going to have to go through hours of footage to try to reclaim some of it and then do a whole voiceover. And it's already 11 p.m. So I'm going to make the executive decision to make this a nice, what I did off camera. I hate doing those, but let's do this. A lot's happened. I did want to show you that little bit about how I got the Entra crystals, because those guys are a pain. The crystals themselves break down, so you have to replace the bottom. And unfortunately, You need at least 32 before you can make a machine that does the doubling, but you can make a machine. Part of today's update is also because I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat, and my dog will not let me do voiceovers right now. So let's do this. There is a big difference down here, I can imagine. Guys, gosh, where do I even start? Okay, first up, we have an all-the-modium furnace attached. I do have a wireless heat receiver in here, so we're starting to use recipes for that. I did upgrade my matter condenser to have a fluid pipe with a netherite one, because this is one of my limiters right now, is how fast I get matter balls. And we made a quantum computer core. I don't have enough materials, Certus quartz, to get the rest of this, but we have taken our whole crafting space down over here. And I've done a lot of cleanup on the actual wires. Look at these colors, guys. Don't look at those ones. Those don't have colors. But look at these colors. I may have accidentally ultimined all my cables and rage quit earlier this week. The dog went on a very long walk. It was beautiful. But yeah, feelings have been had. So I think the best way to show this is I like to walk you through the actual walking direction. And you can now see, look at how clean it is, guys. Gosh, I am loving this. I'll probably put an intro in on this, but you can see that I really did a lot of cleanup here. This guy's now sitting up here. I recessed it in. We made a wireless hub from Extended AE. So now I have the whole mob farm on a subnetwork. It isn't the most elegant method because I have two connectors, one here and one back there, because they do need to attach to these storage buses for subnetworks do need to attach to the storage themselves. And we are very full of a source. So this machine is off. And who knows when I'll need to turn it back on. All right, back to this. I now have extended inscribers, and I had to tilt these sideways because they were having some issues, and I moved them from downstairs. This one here, I have some of the dust that I want, and I did it this way so it would share between these two machines. Additionally, I now have two of the crystal assemblers from Extended AE, two circuit slicers, and one reaction chamber. And all of this now has, I had this all wired up, so it's running through the orange line here. And yes, I went so far as to put facades on all this. So you can only imagine my pain when I ultimined it. Ultimined! So I'm still mentally recovering from that pain. Then over here, I did make the assembler matrix, and the trick I will tell folks is make sure you put a channel on it before you panic. I have put this in 7, 8 different locations because I didn't have a channel on it, so it never turned blue on the side, so I thought it was broken. We have a 4x7 by, well, a 7x7 by 4, if 4 is the height, and yeah, it does me pretty good. And this, I never actually explained. This is how I'm making dry ice. I'm actually using the industrial chillers from Oritech to make ice. I'm importing this into my system. And then my Delio's back here. My wonderful, what are these things called? Reactors themselves import the dry ice here. And when I have enough, it comes through in the orb. So dry ice is made. I'm not sure about the lighting. It's not my favorite because it's broken up in all sorts of different ways, but this is the sheer amount of building pain I had. Oh, I gotta keep the lantern on down here for a video. I had so many breakdowns, guys. I was like, I need to have this sorted. It's so messy, it must burn. But we prevailed. Our big success is how much energy we now have. We're generating 1.5 million when we do generate power, and it actually is set to buffer. I got 4 batteries here. Each of them have their own nitro dealio here. So each of these have 2 billion, and the battery itself has 2 billion. So I don't know why that one's switching to 1. It's scaring me. So each of these have 6 billion in storage, and I have 4 of them. So 24 billion in storage. Is that right? If I'm wrong, let me know, guys. And I haven't gotten these perfect, but I have gotten them up to about, yeah, I want to say in the low 480s. These are supposed to each get up to half a million per tick. So we've upgraded, but I am still keeping that guy. He's my backup. Additionally, I did really upgrade the amount of lava we have stored back here. So that is fantastic. What else did I do? Yeah, let's kind of talk here. So I've been filling up some drives here. I actually don't like the extended ones because I can't see the status symbols on them. So I am keeping with the current ME drives, and I think that will work. I have tossed down my cell workbench, a chest that I'm using for my color applicator here. My IO port when I'm taking stuff out of disks that were too small. I do have a quick little, you can see a dry ice. I have an importer right back there that I've been using, and Blackstone is one of the weird ones that I'm keeping stored in its own drawer. Everything else right now is on those drives right there, mainly because of that sheer quantity of pebbles. So it has another right upgrade and a void, and I'm calling it good. And I did put a black sink in here. It still kind of has a brown as my water storage. So I just kind of wanted to make that a little more streamlined. I am working to actually making the quantum computer big guy, but at the moment, that's probably going to come in a future build. He's a lot of resources. And if you're wondering how much time has been lost in those recordings, I have just over 9,000 nether stars. Golly gee. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your patience with this one due to some technical errors, but I've been keeping on. I'm a slow and steady player, so we'll get to those stars. I was not expecting to get to quantum core for our computer today. We don't even have fully automated ores yet. So we are wealthy beyond our means. I was really not expecting to get to 24 billion of storage of energy. I really overshot my power plans for today. We have finished that mod, I think we can say. So if you guys have a recommended next mod we get into, let me know. I hope we'll have enough energy. In the meantime, have a great night. Bye.